All right, welcome back to Let's Hang Out. Do you mind if I paint? My name is Dan, and I'm going to take us the rest of the way through this painting. We have just done the series, or the segment on putting in a cabin, a little fence, a little snow, a little path, a little chimney, a little smoke. So now let's drop in a big old tree. For that, I'm going to use my fan brush we used before that has a purple on it. I'm just going to pick up a little bit, and by little bit, I'm talking about a few drops of paint thinner on my brush there. And I'm going to go straight into my darkest purple. Remember that we made early on. We did with the sky. And I'm still going to use up this lavender, the lighter color we made, because that dark should just kind of eat it up at this point. But I need this paint to be thinner. Need it to be thinner. So it'll come right over this, no problem. So let's just give ourselves a good center line to follow here. Bob would often do this for us on the show, if you remember. He'd give himself a good center line to follow. Let me pick up some more paint. Really want this to be as dark as it can be. And now let's just go for it. I got this really thin, so we'll just kind of have to see what happens. So just touch, 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 touch. And then just let more of the brush bend down as you come down your tree. Move to the sides. Bump down, try to fight uniformity, leave some space between your branches, and don't chase the shape of the tree. Let the brush do this for you. It works out really, really well that way. All right, well that went so well. Why don't we drop in another little tree, just so we'll kind of put it in front of this side of the cabin there. I was a little worried about that paint being too thin, but I think that worked out okay. We're going to put some light blue highlight on that, maybe just a little straight white. We'll see. We'll see what we decide. So let's just make a little smaller one. I don't want to cover up all that smoke that we've got. I really like smoke coming out of chimneys. So we're just going to shake another tree right out of this fan brush. If you're going to just kiss the corner of your cabin, look at how it just sets that back for us. Isn't that awesome? If you want to, you can kind of give it a little pull up, maybe following down a little hill here towards our little path. Isn't that cool? Now then, let's take one of our 1-inch brushes. We didn't do this yet because this is the closest tree that we've done, but now you can just grab the bottom of some of that purple and pull it out into your snow. Man, does it just set it right down in there and just makes it look like such a snowy, cold scene. But that's because we've got that white on there. We've got that lighter purple underneath. There'd be some shadows sneaking in there from somewhere, I'm sure. So that'll work for us. Let's grab a little bit of our brown color. We can sneak in a little tree trunk here in the middle. Don't do the whole thing. You wouldn't be able to see the whole thing. Certainly not in a big evergreen tree like this. You just see a little bit of this tree trunk here and there and here. I used a little bit of the brown and white mixed together. That's why you see some of it look like it's got peely bark or snow in there. So that worked out pretty cool. So now I'm going to take our white fan brush, go into some liquid white, just so I've got a good pile to work with here on my palette. I'm going to grab ever just a touch of some phthalo blue. And oh my word, is that a strong, strong blue. I just want it to not be super white. So I've just mixed up a tiny little bit. And this paint is pretty thin, don't forget, because I use paint thinner and a little more than I meant to. So I need this highlight to be thin in order for it to stick on top of that paint that I used to put the tree in. So we're just going to do a little bit of this here. As I work my way down the tree, I'm just letting more and more of the brush hit. But as I get down here to the bottom, I don't want to be able to see much of it. So don't do too much. Don't overdo. Don't overdo. Picking up a little more liquid white. Just touch with the corner. Go back and forth across the middle. Don't cover up all your dark. That'd just kill all that hard work we just did. If we want to put some highlights down here on the ground, like this got some snow, we can do that. Just vary these a bit. Create the lay of your land. Use a little different pressure in your hand so it doesn't just look like straight ridges, but maybe that looks like a little windblown snow going in there. How about that? All right, let's do a couple of trees and bushy things on this other side, and then we'll get our pond done, our frozen area. That'll be fun. So let's not cover up our whole tree, or excuse me, whole mountain, but let's set these trees way even further back here in our painting. And by those, I mean these distant little trees we did there. See, by doing this and being able to see layer after layer after layer in our painting through the branches of the tree, man, you just give such depth and incredible believability to your painting here. It's just awesome. So maybe we've got a little hill coming down this way out of this one. And then I'll do a little bit of this up pull, weedy stuff at the edge of it here, right at the edge of our path. How about that? Maybe we need one more big tree over there in that side. Every tree needs a friend. Some people will tell you, don't put odd numbers or even numbers. I tell you what, you paint as many trees in your painting as you want. That's how many there ought to be. It's exactly how many you want. Maybe there's no trees in your world. Oh, what a sad place that would be. But it's your world, so if there's no trees in it, don't put trees in it. Just push, push, push. I'm telling you, these are in that brush, whatever brush you choose to use to put these babies in there. It's in there. Just keep shaking it. That's in there. All right, let's do our highlights. Let's do our tree trunk in there first. Can't get ahead of myself that far, can I? Let's do a little tree trunk action there. I've seen Bob do his hand flipped over that way. I don't really remember when I started preferring to put in trees and some things with a knife like this. But it works for me. It's how I like to do it. So that's how I do it. You might like doing it where you give a little touch and tug this way at you. That's fine. Whichever way you like to do it, that is the right way. However you have success and it's comfortable for you, that's what I want you to do, because this will work for you. You'll love it. All right, let's just touch, 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 touch. Let's just get a few highlights. Wind blowing a little fatty and clumpier there, that's fine. Just touch, work your way back and forth. Now when you're practicing at home or in a studio, wherever you like to paint, boy, and you can take your time and put as many in as you want. Boy, you could add all kinds more trees if you wanted to. That's up to you. Send me a picture of it, though. Email me. I'd love to see what you're working on. Let me know if this is working for you. Let me know if these videos are helpful to you. If not, goodness gracious, I don't want to be putting out videos that aren't helping anybody. If you're going to do some highlights like that, leave your dark, leave your dark, leave your dark. If you've ever watched a Bob episode, my goodness, he would tell us, leave your dark. If you're pulling some out like this in the shadow, pull a little more out underneath the big tree. That just helps sell the believability. If you change your mind, you want a little softer roll to that slope, then just gently redo it. I haven't gone deep into that there at all. If you need a little more snow in there, maybe you want a little blue snow in here just so it's got a little bit of that highlight in it, you can pull in some more snow and just smooth it out. This still has a lot of that liquid white in it, so it's coming off real strong. There we go. Let's just smooth that out a little like that. And just pull in a little more snow while we're doing it. That feels good. So let's get that. We'll do that pond thing here. Okay. So now, it doesn't really matter what you use for brush action on this one. You just need some dark. So I've wiped out a bunch of this paint thinner because I don't need it to be so thin and I want it to be a little bit streaky. So I've just picked up some of my dark and I'm just going to decide where this pond lives, and I'm going to pull straight down. Straight down. Is this pond coming this way? Pull a little deeper as it gets closer to us. Maybe it comes around this way and gets closer to us over on this side. So it's maybe we're looking at part of the pond here. Just straight down, straight down. You can go over to soften a little bit. I'm going to come back in just a second with another brush, cleaner brush. I'm going to take this famous 1-inch brush that's done so much for us today. Just soften, straight down. Just barely touch, barely touch, barely touch. Barely touch, just softening it. Remember how we did this on the trees? Those distant trees, just ever so slightly, but we went up. Same idea, same idea. Now let's go across. Wiped out any paint I picked up. And this is a whisper. You just want to make it look watery. Oh, I hope you can see that happening on the video. Oh, I love it every time. Just barely touch. Pull straight across, straight across, straight across. There you go. Straight across, straight across, straight across. Little hair from the brush gets on there. Just grab it. Looks like it fell out there. Good. You can do this back and forth. Super gentle, just like blending. If you'll be gentle, you can go back over it a few times if you need to. Step back, take a look at it, say, okay, I'm digging what we got there. All right, I got myself one more fan brush just because I wanted to be able to go straight into titanium white. So it's a little bit thicker. And you know what? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to kind of pull in towards our snow, or towards our frozen pond, some snowy areas, and let these get bigger as they're getting towards us over here on the left. So just pulling it right down to the edge of the water. Don't worry, we're going to come back and do an awesome waterline on some of this, but we just need to kind of set our pond down in the picture. So I wanted a clean brush so I could go straight into my titanium white. And I just kissed a little of that blue, and that's just fine, because that'll be right over here. So let's just pull it right in, pull it right in, and we'll just pull more snow, right down towards the edge of our little frozen pond here. Don't worry about these little pointy things I've got. We're going to clean those up in just a second. So we're going to soften this, wipe out that extra paint, and just soften it, just soften it, just soften it. You can have a little curve like I've got going down there towards the water if you want to. If that's not how it would be in your world, don't put it like that. The key here is just let it get bigger as it's getting closer to us. I got a little more snowy on my brush, so I'm just putting that on the canvas so I can smooth this right back out. But leave it have some streaks. Leave it have some texture to it. That'll be really cool when your painting dries. People will come up and touch it and they'll be like, oh, how did you do that? Well, that'd be our secret unless you choose to tell them. I won't tell them. We kind of close in this side of the pond a little bit with a little extra snow. Maybe we'll put some bushy things right there just to kind of finish us off as we get around there. All right, let's cut in a nice little water line here. We're going to use some clean liquid white for that. So I'm just hitting the jar again, smushing it out flat on my palette. I like using the small edge of the knife for this. And let's just see where we'd see some water line. You won't see it a lot because this is light against light. You will see it against the purple though, especially when we pull a little out like this. Let's just pull a little out like that. That's going to set that reflection right down into our frozen little lake here. Little pond, little stream. I don't know what it is. Does it really matter? Probably not. If you want to get crazy and put in a little darker edge, You can do that. You could sneak in a little dirt edge over here. Maybe you can see some dirt in yours, and that'll let you set off a real nice waterline here in a little bit if you want. I do this on some of them. I don't like to have too much dirt in wintertime. I just like to have it be that light color. If you're going to do that, you may want to put in a little kiss of snow on it just so it looks a little bit icy. I think that's pretty cool when we do that. Then you can come right along and give it its own little waterline. Keep these lines horizontal to the horizon even as you're working your way down the side of your pond. Now you would not be able to see all of the little shoreline and waterline against it, so just give it in a few places where you'd see it. Maybe where the wind's blowing. Get over here to the corner, probably wouldn't be able to see it anymore. So just let it be there. Man, this looks cold to me. Let's put a little tiny waterline back there. Yeah, see how you can change that shoreline just by rubbing on it? There we go. Let's do a few dark things so we've got something to highlight, and we're going to call this one done. So let's just pick up as much. Okay, that's not quite enough. I'm going to go straight into my alizarin crimson, touch that blue. I'm just kind of making some purple on the fly here. I really just need something dark so I can put some highlights on it. I am pulling my 1-inch brush one direction only. Went through my alizarin crimson. I came over here and just touched my phthalo blue so I get another good dark purple color, so I stay consistent. Yep, I can see it on my palette. It's a little redder this time. That's okay. Just going to give us some little bushy things to highlight over here. So I'll add one more layer to our painting here. Let's do something on this side over here as well. Got to just work with whatever happens. So I thinned out that first batch of purple that we had. Now let the pressure vary in your hand. Don't make all these things the same shape. We're really just making something to have to highlight. And start with the one you want furthest away, and then put the closer one. Leave yourself room so you can still get your highlight in there. If you've done like I just did and closed off the front of your painting with that. So now we need a thinner paint to stick to that. So let's go clean 1-inch brush straight into some liquid white. I'm going to go straight through what I have remaining of that titanium white, just so I got a little bit of thickness, not thickness, but just a little more beef to it than straight liquid white. And just above the dark, just kiss it. Just kiss it. Leave some of that dark. Gotta have some of that dark to show our light here. There you go. Gotta leave that dark, or then you've just got light against light and you got nothing. Pick up a little more liquid white, because this will pick up some of that underneath color. Get real dark real fast if you let it. That's okay if that's what you want. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that just look amazing? I love that every time. That's as cool as getting reflections, right? Oh, I just love it. All right, let's do this one on this side. Rotate. You can think about the hands on a old-timey clock. Not a digital clock. Those hands won't do you any good as far as moving around a clock face. You can tell time just fine, but not for this example. If you just push with that curve, and no sliding. No sliding. Sliding no good. Sliding very much bad for these little bushy things. Little bushy things, boys and girls. All right, so let's just pull in a little bit of snow at the foots like we've been doing anywhere we left that out. So that'll just set that right down in there. We'll do the same right over here. that will set that right in there. We can take our little knife, scratch in a few twigs and little sticks here and there. That's one of the reasons you leave some dark, just to sneak these in there. All right, well, I'm going to tell you, we're going to sneak over here and use the bright red that we put over here in timeout. Boy, this is another long one. I am promising you I'm going to get faster. You know what? One of these I'm just going to do straight through, and I will start myself about a 30-minute clock. So that way you've got a start to finish in 30 minutes. That was so awesome in instructor certification over in New Smyrna with Nick. When he did one, I think the first time he did the timer, it was 45 minutes. And man, what an incredible thing just to watch him. It was like watching a Bob Ross episode live and in person. It was just fantastic. So there, this one is signed. The clock on the wall is telling me I am way past what is sane to ask you to sit through for a training or teaching type video. I hope some of these have been helpful. Leave me some comments. I'll certainly do my best to get faster for you. Shorten these, stay on task, and just get through the process. So, until next time, keep on painting.